for this one, it's just like the problems we saw last time. Just want to find the slope of this line. So we only need 2 points to do that, and then we're going to make a stair step figuring out our rise and our run. So that's what we want, rise over run. So there's my fraction, just to get it started right there. And remember, rise is up and down, run is left and right. And I guess the first ordered pair I see is this one right here, which is at negative 2, 1. And then we got another ordered pair. There's several that could have been used. I'm going to choose this one right here, which appears to be at 4, negative 3. All right, so rise over run. And again, if we looked at this like a straight grid, you'd have to go down like this, and then you'd have to go to the right, okay? So we know it's down and to the right. It's just how far down is this going to go first. I like to count the lines, but you're welcome to count the boxes if you'd like. 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Again, the boxes would work, so it goes down 4. Since it's down 4, the rise, that means that our 4 here is going to be a negative. So our numerator right now is negative, but then we're also going to go to the right. Well, how far to the right? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines, okay? So again, you can count those boxes. There's still 6 boxes, same thing. But it is to the right 6. And then this fraction we just need to simplify, which to do that, just put that in the calculator and it will do it for you. It will show you a negative 2/3, okay? Which also means that you could have just went down 2 to the right 3. And from any of the other ordered pairs that were on the graph, such as this one, or let's see, this one, you could have just went down 2 to the right 3, and you could have been done. There would have been no need to simplify the fraction, okay? So remember, even though we use the smaller stair step right here, the slope is considered the same because it's a straight line. The slope isn't changing between these 2 points or between these 2 points. So today, we're going to be still looking at slope, but now they're not going to give us the graph, okay? Sometimes they will give us the graph, but for the most part today, they're not going to. They're just going to give us 2 points and then tell us to find the slope. Well, there's ways to do that, and we're going to look back and figure out how to do that on the graph, which will give you 2 strategies to use with graphs. But like I said, sometimes they're going to not give us graphs. So this right here is the formula we're going to be using to find the slope. And so what this means right here is that they are going to give us 2 points, okay? Now you can see this right here. This would be considered its own ordered pair, and then this one also its own ordered pair. So if they gave us some kind of ordered pair right here, X and Y, you put this above and below each other. Now remember, though, it's rise over run, which is why the X's, which is left and right, go in the denominator, and the Y's, which is up and down, go in the numerator, rise over run. But this is its own ordered pair. You can't mix these up where you put that Y value there and then this one here. They have to be directly above and below each other, okay? And then like I said, they'll give us another ordered pair, X and Y, like this. So your X value goes in the denominator, Y value goes in the numerator. I just pretty much color code these. And they say X1, Y1, X2, Y2. It doesn't matter which one you choose is first or second because the slope isn't going to change based on the line, okay? Because the line is straight. It's always going to have the same slope no matter where you look at. So there are other ways, but this is the main way that most people use. Now when we set these up, and you'll see this in the problems, all I'm going to do is give us a fraction line with 2 subtraction signs. Why is this subtraction in here? It's because on the graph, in fact, let's look at the bell work. All right, so on the bell work, let's look at the 2 points that we use, right? The red and the purple point. This one and this one, okay? So when we said we went down, what that is it's a distance between these Y values, okay? Now, of course, there's a specific direction, but it's a distance, which is a difference, and a difference is subtraction, okay? Or you could look at the X values. That's the distance between, the horizontal distance between these values, and we already seen that it goes to the right 6, okay? So if you were to plug those values in, especially those ones that we used, the red ordered pair, that was negative 2, 1. So negative 2 in the denominator, y value 1 in the numerator. And then for the purple point, you put the 4 in the denominator and then the negative 3 y value in the numerator, okay? Now this is something that you could just plug directly into the calculator. You could do it by hand if you'd like, but you'll get the same value. If you put it in the calculator, it'll simplify it for you, okay? Which is kind of the expectation. Like I have no expectation for you guys to do this in your head or to work this out unless you just put it in the calculator. Okay, so this is, to get the fraction button on the calculator, you're gonna push the N over D button. It's 3 buttons above 7, and that'll get you the fraction function. All right, so here we go. They've given us 2 ordered pairs. So I'm gonna set this up right here. We got the fraction line with the 2 subtraction signs. And just so we can remember, I know that I'm gonna put one of the x values here and then its corresponding y value in the numerator. And then the other ordered pair, the x value will go in the denominator, y value in the numerator, okay? So I'm just gonna fill these in. It's kind of like there's little blanks that I gotta fill in. That's what these are. So I'm gonna say that the first point is the red one. Does it matter? No, it does not, because slope will not change for straight lines. So where it says that the x value is 5, I just put a 5 there in the denominator. Where the y value is negative 19, I put the negative 19 where the y value is in the numerator. And again, this is an ordered pair right here, 5, negative 19. But then the other ordered pair, x is 14, y is 17. So I replace the x there with 14 in the denominator, and then the y value in the numerator is 17. All I have to do at this point, in order to find my slope, which is what I do want, is put this into the calculator. So once again, I type in N over D, negative 19 in the numerator minus 17. Then I go into the denominator, 5 minus 14, enter, and this one tells me that the final value here is 4. Now, most of the time we would want to see the slope as a fraction, but where we're just looking for slope, it is okay to make it a whole value or an integer value like this. And that right there, that's just the final answer, 4. Yeah, and that's a good question. You got to be careful because this is negative 19. If you push minus 19, it'll tell you there's some kind of syntax error. So keep in mind that the negative button is it's right between the enter and the decimal buttons at the very bottom row. And then the minus button, at least for the calculators we have, it's a gray button there on the right column. So you got to be able to distinguish and use the different buttons, because if you get them mixed up, then the calculator is it's gonna freak out, which we don't want because it wants to help us. We're gonna do the same thing on this one. So there's our slope formula. And once again, our x values go in the denominator, y values in the numerator. That would be one ordered pair. And then the other ordered pair, x in the denominator, y in the numerator. We just need to identify them, that's all. So for the first ordered pair, you know what? For my red ordered pair, I'm gonna show you that it doesn't matter because I'm gonna make the second ordered pair the red one, or x1, y1, however you wanna look at it, okay? So where the x value is negative 3, boom, I replace the x in the negative 3 in the denominator, and then the y value is 2, that has to go in the numerator, boom. Then we got the other ordered pair. X value is 15, x is going in the denominator, there it is, and the y value is 3, that has to go into the numerator. Well, like I said, to find my slope here, which is what I do want, because this is the slope formula, all I gotta do is punch this into the calculator. N over D, 2 minus 3, then I go to the denominator, negative 3, remember it's a negative button, not the minus. Now minus 15, enter, and it shows me a slope of 1 over 18. I'm going to show you guys that it doesn't matter. I'm going to put the red value second on this one, and then the purple one first. So that's the next one like this. Okay, but we already know those values, so I'm just gonna move them. So the red ordered pair, negative 3, 2, and then the purple ordered pair, 15, 3. Okay, well, put this into the calculator, and what do you get? Boom, 1 over 18. So that's the same exact slope. It's just because, like I said, it's a straight line, so the slope isn't going to change no matter which direction you go up or down the line. It's still a slope of 1 over 18. This, by the way, it's a pretty flat slope because it's like up 1 to the right 18. On the homework, you will have to enter these in as fractions. We don't want decimals for slope. because if we can see it as a fraction, it will tell us directly what the rise and the run is. All right, here's another one. You guys take a minute, try this one out. Try to use that slope formula to figure this one out, and we'll go over it. Okay, 1 minute. All right, hopefully that's enough time. If you're still working, do finish up, and then compare your work with what we get, okay? All right, so let's just set this up. Remember, x values in the denominator, y is in the numerator for both points, okay? So remember, it doesn't matter which one you make first, which one you make second. I'm going to say that this x value is in red, and this y value, corresponding y value, is also in red, okay? So that's my first ordered pair. The x value is negative 17 here, and then the y value is negative 9er. And then the second ordered pair, x is 20, so that goes in the denominator, and then the y value, negative 6, goes into the numerator. And this is especially where we need to remember the minus negative stuff in the calculator. Some of you know to use keep change here, which is just going to make that plus 6, and that's fine if you do. Just be careful because sometimes we make little mental errors on those, okay? It's okay while we're practicing, just we wouldn't want that to happen on the test. So I'm just going to type this in exactly like I see it onto the calculator. This will, and then the calculator will tell me the slope. So on the calculator, n over d, negative 9 minus negative 6. And remember, those are different buttons, minus and negative. Now the denominator, negative 17 minus 20, enter, and it gives me 3 over 37. Not a very pretty slope, but it'll do. And it's showing as positive, so that's it. All right, let's do this one together. So yeah, set up your slope formula. Remember, with fraction line and 2 subtraction signs. And we got x's in the denominators, y's in the numerators. X's in the denominators, y's in the numerator for both ordered pairs. So I see my first ordered pair, x here will be negative 6. Its corresponding y value is 19. So negative 6 in the denominator, 19 in the numerator. Same with the second ordered pair, x here is negative 6, so negative 6. And its corresponding y value is 3. That goes in the numerator. So I put this in to the calculator to find my slope. Let's see what we get. N over d, 19 minus 3. That's my numerator. In the denominator, negative 6 minus negative 6. Enter. And the calculator says we've seen this before, by the way, but it says divide by 0 error, like this. Okay, what this means is that if you were to look at the graph, and hopefully this is something we remember from last time, you got an x and y axis like this, okay? Well, what this means is that if you were to graph this line, you would go through where x is negative 6, about right here, but it's a straight up and down line. And we're going to pretend like I drew straight lines right there, okay? So the green line that I drew, which would be x, where x is negative 6, and the y-axis, well, these are parallel, so I mean there's no y-intercept, but this is a straight up and down line. That's the steepest slope we can find. And so we just say on this one, again, that's what we talked about last time, that this slope here is undefined. On the homework, it's going to want you to type in D, N, E. But again, technically speaking, mathematically, this is just considered undefined because the slope is so large, mathematically, we can't quantify it. How about this one? Well, just set it up. Set it up, put it in the calculator, see what we get. So, once again, I got my x value in the denominator, y in the numerator, and then x in the denominator, y in the numerator. We'll do this one a little differently. But the x value here is negative 18. That has to go in the denominator. That's the x value. And then its corresponding y value, 4, has to go into the numerator. Now the second ordered pair, x is 1. That has to go into the denominator. Y is 4. It has to go into the numerator. Well, let's put this in the calculator, see what we get. Now, sometimes students have a problem with this one because of what you'll see on the calculator, okay? So, n over d, 4 minus 4, that's my numerator. I go down to my denominator, negative 18 minus 1. Enter, and the calculator says, hey, this slope right here is 0. Now, some students say, well, that means it does not exist. No, that's not what it means. If it did not exist, it'd say divide by 0 error, just like the last one did. Here's what this means on a graph, and hopefully, again, this will help us remember what we saw last time. But I found that doesn't mean it's a guarantee. The line is going to look something like this, okay? So that line is a straight flat line, and that means a flat line has a slope, as it turns out, of 0 right there. So it has no slope. That's another way to say it. It has no steepness. It's just a flat line. So if you ever see a slope that's 0, that's okay. We can have slopes that are 0. So I'm going to use the slope formula on our graphs as well. Now, do you have to use the slope formula on the graphs? No, you do not. Some of you may still prefer to use the stair step, and if you do, that's fine. I am just going to use the slope formula just to show you that you can do that as well. All right. So I got some ordered pairs. I got 3 ordered pairs. No, only 2. So be careful on these graphs. And I think we talked about this last time. If we zoom in here, some students look at this ordered pair or this intersection right there as though it is an ordered pair you can use. That's not quite on that blue line right there. Okay, it's pretty close. It's just not right there. Same with this one. Sometimes students mistakenly say this ordered pair right here, negative 2, 1, that would be the ordered pair that you can use. You can't use those, okay? So, what ordered pairs can we use? The ones that I'm seeing are this one right here, which appears to be at negative 4, 0, my x-intercept. And then the other one I'm looking at, again, I just kind of follow this line up. Nope, no, 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 nope, 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 nope. Oh, there it is. And so you may have to actually scan these lines for quite a bit until you find an ordered pair that can actually be used. That's 4, 3. Now, like I said, the plan here is to plug these into our slope formula, which is what I'm going to do. So I know my x value is in the denominator, y is in the numerator. That would be one ordered pair, and the other ordered pair, x in the denominator, y in the numerator. So the red ordered pair shows the x value is negative 4. So that's where I'm going to put it into the denominator right there. Its corresponding y value 0, no problem. Okay, that goes in the numerator. Now our purple ordered pair, where the x value is 4, that goes into the denominator. The y value is 3, it goes in the numerator. Well, all I got to do at this point is just type it into the calculator to see what it gives me. That will be my slope. All right, n over d. So 0 minus 3 in the numerator, go down, negative 4 minus 4, enter, and this gives me a positive 3/8 slope. And that is the slope, but just to clarify this, remember that means that you would go up 3 because the 3 is positive, and then the 8 is positive as well, so you'd go to the right 8. Well, where would you go up 3 to the right 8 from? From point to point. So this would show up 3 right there, and then to the right 8 right here as well. So see how the stair-step method still works, but if you like this slope formula stuff, it still works too. And again, they're related because when we look at rise and run like this on stair steps, that is a distance, which is a difference or subtraction. Now let's find the slope of this one too. No problem. Just need 2 ordered pairs. And this one gives us a few to choose from, except we can use this one right here at negative 4, 0. The y-intercept also at 0, negative 2, but also this one right here at 4, negative 4. I'll choose, I'll choose the 2 that are closest together. Not because we have to simplify, but just, I don't know, they're closer together, okay? So I'll even zoom in like this, just give us a little better look at that. So slope formula, whatever this is in the end, it will give me my slope. Hey, that's very nice. So what are my 2 ordered pairs right here? I'll change the colors. This one right here is at negative 4, 0. Oh, we've seen that one already. Then our y-intercept right there at 0, negative 2. Well, some of you may feel more comfortable using the stair steps, and if you do, that's fine. We would never say you have to use a specific method, so I'm just going to use the formula because that's part of our lesson today. So for the red ordered pair, the x value is negative 4, that has to go into the denominator, and then the y value 0, that has to go into the numerator. For the purple ordered pair, our y-intercept, the x value is 0, that's in the denominator, and then the y value is negative 2, that goes into the numerator. Now, some of you, I think, could do that possibly in your head, but I'm not going to. I am just going to put this in the calculator. So n over d, 0 minus negative 2, all over negative 4 minus 0. Enter, and my calculator says And this slope right here is negative 1/2. And yeah, to type that into the canvas for the assignment, you type in -1/2. That would give you full credit. Now, I think I'd seen 3 points. Actually, I'm seeing more now. You could have used this one at -2, -1, or even at 2, -3. And those are legitimate ordered pairs that you could have used. Right, on the assignment, you'll see some word problems like this one, and they're super fun. Joey rents a bike. It costs $15 to rent, and then $6 per hour. This can be represented by this equation. Y = 15 plus 6x. I have the point 439. What does that represent in the context of this situation? So this goes back a little bit into what you may have learned in science, but that's the x values. The x values are what we call the independent variables. I'm not going to go too much into this because there's only like one problem like this on the assignment. And then your y values are what we call the dependent variables. There we go. Okay, so you got your independent and dependent variables. Well, what the crap does that mean? It means that one of these has to depend on the other one. And the y, of course, is dependent, which means it depends on the x's. So if we looked at these, and if you ever find the rate, which is kind of one of the crucial values we're looking for, the rate will tell you what two quantities to compare. Okay? Well, is there a rate given here? And hopefully you remember enough about rates to remember it's just a comparison of two different quantities. Yeah, there is a rate. $6 per hour. So the two things we're comparing here are dollars and hours. And what the heck, I'll write it down. Dollars and hours, okay? Well, which one depends on the other one? Well, if we think about this just a little bit more, the dollars, that's how much Joey pays to rent a bike for a certain number of hours, okay? The hours, though, that's just how many hours Joey rents the bike. That's it, okay? So from this information, we can see that how much Joey pays, that will depend on how long Joey rents the bike. So how much Joey pays will depend, that's the key word there, depend on how long he rents the bike. Boom. Okay, which means that right here, if we look at the ordered pair, 439, remember, how much he pays will depend, that's our y value, and our y value here is 39. That means that the 39 right there is $39 to rent the bike. That would be total, by the way. And then the hours, that's just how long he's going to actually rent the bike. That has to be the other one right there, hours. And usually it does happen in this order. You'll say, well, we got to figure out which one depends on the other one. And we found out that the dollars will depend on how many hours Joey rents this bike. So this ordered pair, to be a little bit more specific, although you don't have to be this specific on the assignment, it would read like this. If Joey rents the bike for 4 hours, he will pay a total of $39. Okay. Are there other ways to express that? Yeah, I just don't care. And here's our objective. I can find slope from 2 points without a graph by using that slope formula, and also with a graph. Whether you use, on a graph, of course, you could use the slope formula or stair-step method. It's up to you.